Hey guys, welcome back to Charlie and me, our camping vlog. It's a Q&A session. I put a call out a couple of days ago on my Facebook page, on Instagram and on YouTube for any questions. So we can do a Q&A for 2024 and we got 2 pages. Some of them we can't answer now and are going to lead to another video, but I'll tell you more about that as we go along. So first question off, we have been asked this before. There's actually 2 questions I think on this that we've been asked before, but Alan Ryan asked, what do you dislike about camping? There must be something. You seem to really love it. I do love it. The only thing, Alan, that I dislike about camping is dogs being off their lead. Speaking of dogs, I hear Charlie out the back. That drives me mad. I have to be honest, there's very little I don't like about camping. You might pull up onto a campsite and you might have noisy neighbours, but that's just luck of the draw. And I've got to be honest, that's only happened to us once in all of the years we've been camping. And I just got up and I moved to another pitch. But yes, dogs off their leads. Big no-no for me. Michelle asked, apart from the Glen of Arlo, which you have mentioned in your videos, have you any other favourite places that you like to go camping? We love Clifton. See, we've been to hundreds of sites, and we're just talking about Ireland. I mean, we love a lot of sites in France, but we've been to hundreds of sites, and a lot of them 2 or 3 times because changes might have been made. And if you go on to charlieandme.ie, click on our map, and you'll see the map. And then if you click on, we'll say the Glen of Arlo, 3 or 4 videos will come up because we've been there at different times of the year. But anyway, we do love Clifton Eco Park in Connemara. St. Margaret's in Wexford is absolutely beautiful. Nagel's in Doolin, which is where we're going this St. Patrick's weekend. We tend to always go down there for Paddy's weekend for the last few years. Blarney Caravan and Camping Park is another fabulous one. Jamie and Amanda's Strand Camping in Doonbeg. There's so many. But yes, the Glen of Arlo is my favourite. But if I was to take that out, I think the top 5 would be Clifton Eco Park, St. Margaret's, Linder's in Portrane, Blarney, and Doolin. Not in that order, but there's 5. We've just so many, but thanks for your question, Michelle. Jason Carmody. Jason is the owner of the Limerick campsite in Ayres, which is being developed at the moment. We have a video up on our YouTube channel. When we visited there, it was just an Ayr, just a car park. But now he's put in pitches. He's in the process of building toilets. The new grey area water I see was going in this week. There's a lot of activities. It's a fabulous place. But Jason was on, he said, could we have a discussion about why there is so much variance in the cost between campsites? Now, I did a bit of research on this. It's not regulated. In France, campsites are regulated. There's kind of a set fee, and then if you're a little bit dearer, there's government grants and stuff for campsites in France. Over here, it's not regulated. Yes, we have the book, and actually I have this year's here from Camping Ireland. They don't do anything. In fact, this year, and I think last year's book, don't even have the prices in it. Seeing that we're on the subject of prices. A lot of campsites now, it's very seldom you're going to get a campsite for 30 quid. And then on top of that, you might have showers, you might have electricity. So it's a discussion we've had on the Camping Crew podcast, myself and Chris, about the prices of campsites. They can charge what they want. And, you know, you vote with your wheels. If you stay one night and it's too expensive, we did with Salt Hill in Galway. We moved on. If it's, you know, you vote with your wheels, but the discussion will turn into an argument, I feel, Jason, because there's just no regulations, and you know yourself, you're finding it hard to get a fee without making it, especially when you're adding on 2 children. If it's an adult and 2 adults, 2 children, or 3 children, or 4 children, you know, all those 350s add up. I think with your place, Jason, you're more, I know you're going to be in an Ayr campsite, but I think you're a 2-night at the most, where if people are going for a week somewhere, those extras do add up. He also goes on to say, are there regulations about parking campers next to each other? For example, a space distance. There's no, I couldn't find a written regulation anywhere. It's recommended that you put at least 2 meters between camper vans for fire regulations. That if there is a fire, be it a gas fire, an electrical fire, or one motorhome or camper van, the 2 meters, it shouldn't really. I mean, if there's an explosion, it's probably going to hit everybody around you. But yeah, I do think you'll see it down in Cove on the Airs, there's 2 meters. You'll see it in Clonmel, there's 2 meters. So I do think, and bear this in mind for your air part of the campsite, I do think you should put 2 meters at least between each van. And then that stops, if my side door is facing your side door, it stops us hitting if we both come out at the same time. So I haven't found it written anywhere, but yes, it's been recommended a 2 meter gap, at least 2 meters between vans. Liam asks, Charlie, me is a great idea. The Camping Crew podcast, we love them both. Our question is, how did you come up with the idea to start them? Again, I've answered this. Millions of years ago, 20 odd years ago, I set up campsitereview.com. We still have that. It's a forum, it's free. Please join it and leave reviews of campsites that you stay with, or agree or disagree with some of the reviews that are there. We have some very active people on that, and thank you to those people for being active. So I went from campsitereview.com to Charlie and me, our camping vlog. And then Chris, who's one of the Camping Crew a group of people that we hang around with, is big into podcasts. He suggested the podcast, and the rest is history. In fact, I think I can bring up, I don't have it here, but before the end of the video, I'll bring you up the stats. The podcast we're on 193 episodes, I think, maybe even more, and it's booming. And Charlie and me, I was only telling Deirdre this morning, is 650,000 views and nearly 6,000 subscribers. It really has taken off, and we really do appreciate you guys coming on board and supporting us. IBB CSC has a couple of questions. One of them is, have you got a meetup planned for this year, 2024? Chris has. If Chris had his way, we'd be meeting up every second weekend. Yes, we'll do one. We just don't know where and don't know when. But yes, we will have a meetup, please God, for 2024. We've done them little small meetups in Kilkenny, and it was grand. And then we did a big one in Bannockbane, and I never want to do that again. My friend Mac Aiden did a brilliant disco, and it was just too big. It was just too big. I think it'll be the likes of Kilkenny again. We did one there at the tail end of last year, 2023, and it was lovely. We all met up in the meeting room and had a questions and answers thing, and it was brilliant. I didn't have to go printing T-shirts, mugs, high-vis jackets. It was just a meet and greet. So I'd love to do a thing called Coffee and Campers near a beach. And I said this on the podcast recently, where we all meet up in camper vans or on a campsite, be it tents, caravans, but we go down and we clean the beach for the day, get in touch with the local residents and get black sacks, or the local council, get black sacks and pickers and do a beach clean. I'd love to do that for a meetup this year. So watch this space, and thank you. IBB CSC. What does all that stand for? Let us know. Tonge8056, another great supporter of the channel. Hi, Tonge. Where do you plan on visiting 2024? Right, I know, as I said, we're going to do it for Paddy's weekend. That won't be a video because it's just a holiday. I do want to go back to Linders, but I want to go to Linders. Linders have made changes at Portrane. So the first time we were there, myself and Charlie were in the B-ball. Then they made changes. They put in a playground and new toilets, and myself and Deirdre went with Charlie in the HYMER. Now I'd love to go on my T3 Dream in the VW. So that's something that I'd like to do. So we will be going to Linders. I want to go to Clifton campsite, Connemara campsite, both in Clifton. I want to go to Corrafin. That has been suggested by a couple of people. I think that's County Clare. If you have any suggestions, please do email us at sales@charlieandme.ie. If there's places you say, hey, Aaron, you haven't been here, you should go. We go by the Camping Ireland book, and then we just Google, and if there's places I haven't been, but if there's anywhere you think we could go, please do let us go. Let us know. Alison, could you cover in your videos grounds, works and facilities suitable for wheelchairs? I did do that once or twice, Alison, and then it pops out of my head. There are a few campsites that might have disabled toilets, but the ground might be unlevel, might be all gravel, or might be grass, or just might not be suitable for wheelchairs or people on walking sticks or whatever. But yes, I will add that, Alison. I've also been asked to add the ampage of the electricity, so I tend to do that if I think of it in a video. But yes, I will. I'll gladly do that. Finally, on this page, Damien asks, we're thinking of heading to Spain for July and August of this year, 2024, on our first trip in our self-built converted van. Should we book sites or just take our chances? We'll also be using Airs. We normally go on holidays, and we're heading to Spain. We're heading to France this year, early June, the 8th to the 22nd or 23rd. One year we went late. It was the year after COVID because we couldn't get a sailing. So we went July. Campsites in France and Spain book up because that's their holidays are the last week in July and the first 2 weeks in August. So anybody who's going camping in France or Spain will be going camping to their campsites. We found even Ile de Ré, we got the last pitch. And the lady beside me, when she opened her caravan window, she hit my camper. That's how tight they packed them in. So Damien, I would say try go. If you're restricted by time because of life, love and happiness, try go late June at the latest into early July. And then you'd be all right. Airs even tend to fill up during August in France and Spain. But I know you were saying, because I actually spoke to Damien about this, you were saying that you're going to do mainly airs, but you'd like a few campsites to top up the water and batteries and showers and stuff. I would say try and go June, early July at the latest. Otherwise, yeah, book yourself a couple of campsites and then chance your arm. France and Spain are very friendly for campers, wild camping. But if you book one or two sites, at least you can get your laundry done or top up your water, empty your black water. Right, let me move this camera because I'm getting a creak in my neck and we go on to page 2. Okay, Joe Bryan and IBB CSC asks, we all love the videos and the site reviews and the van build, and we can't wait to see the VW in person. Seeing as you have done so many vans over the past years, what is a must item that you have to have in your van and possibly have in both vans? Chris will tell you from the Camping Crew podcast, my must item, my favorite item is my kitchen roll holder in the HYMER. I don't have one in the VW because there's nowhere to put a kitchen roll holder. After that, my Max Air fan, we fitted one into the HYMER before we went to France 2 years ago. We have since got air conditioning added as well. And Happy Turf Conversions, where I bought the Max fan, supplied me one as a gift for the VW. It's overkill in the VW, but I absolutely love it. And I can't wait for the summer to get out and use the Max Air fan. I can't wait the summer to get out and use the VW. So I would say in the HYMER, it's my kitchen roll holder still. But in both vans, I have the Max fan. And if you're thinking of removing a skylight and putting in a fan, the Max fans are absolutely brilliant. And shameless plug, happytoughconversions.ie supply them. Ellen, 968. How come you never see Deirdre in videos? Is she real? This has been a bone of contention. Deirdre is 100%. In fact, she came up with the name Charlie and Me. She's 100% behind the videos, the podcasts, loves camping, but is not camera shy. She just hates multimedia. She doesn't have Instagram. She doesn't have Facebook. She uses a computer and work and then it's turned off. Even when she's working from home. When she's finished, it's turned off and not turned on till the next day. She reluctantly uses her phone. There's often been times we have a camping group, WhatsApp group, and there's often been times that she turned the internet on her phone at home and it'll go ping, 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 with 60 or 70 comments that we've been chatting about all week on the crew. So there is a Deirdre. I'll move this camera here and I'll just show you a quick picture of her there kissing Charlie. So there is a Deirdre. She has this awful knack of embarrassing me. And she probably says that about me all the time. For example, when I do introduce her to people and she says, I'm not Deirdre, I'm an actress that he's hired for the weekend, but there is a Deirdre. And she's great. You see her elbow and her shoulder sometimes in videos. You hear her giving out sometimes in videos. Mark, what do you do on the rainy days in your van? Well, Mark, we'll say with Deirdre, especially in the HYMER. Deirdre hasn't been out in the VW yet. In the HYMER, we turn the captain seats around. Deirdre reads. Deirdre will read 2 books on the weekend. Hail, rain, sleet or snow. If it's fine, we go out walking. In the rain, the only worry we have is Charlie, because you've got to let him out to do his business. Then once he jumps back in, you dry him off. I watch telly. I love TV. I love Netflix. I love Prime. And I love DVDs. So I will bring a bunch of DVDs. I got this new contraption that plugs into the headphone socket on the telly, and then my little earbuds can pick them up. So I can sit down the end at the bed watching the TV because it spins around. And Deirdre reads, but TV, DVDs, Netflix or Prime, all day long, even during the summer. Noddy, H85. You mentioned on Instagram you were going to France. Will you be reviewing those campsites? Yes, there are certain rules and regulations in France. There'll be no drone footage. And then you've got to be very careful walking around. It's not the same rules as I can walk around with a camera in any campsite in Ireland, and if you're in the shot, you're in the shot. because it's public domain. But in France, the rules are slightly different, so you have to be very, very careful. But yes, they won't be as in depth as the ones that we do here because the rules and laws are different. But yes, we've no campsites booked as yet. In fact, I'd say over the next couple of weeks, we'll start looking and booking campsites, and I will cover that in a video. We'll mention it on the podcasts just to tell you how we go about booking the ferries. We're going from Cork to Roscoff, cabin friendly Brittany, dog friendly cabin, and we'll cover all that as well. But yes, we will be covering them. Thanks for that, Noddy. My buddy Pa, when I put this up on Instagram and said, any questions? My buddy Pa, who helped us with the VW, said, are you ever going to get a real job? Not if I can help it. IBB CSC is back on again. Will you get another dog when Charlie passes? No. Charlie was just there a second ago, actually. No. I had a dog, a Dalmatian called Purdy, for years. When she died, it was like losing a child. It was, oh my God, it was heartbreaking. And I swore never again. 12, 15 years later, Deirdre walks into my life and she's always wanted a dog, but only a chocolate brown Cocker Spaniel because her neighbour had one when she was a kid. I found her a chocolate brown Cocker Spaniel on our first anniversary. We picked him up on our first wedding anniversary. But the deal was, when Charlie passes, he's not being replaced. He's 11 this April. We can see him getting slow. He's gone very grey around the eyes. We can see him slowing down. But please God, we've got another few years. Other people do ask, what if Charlie's gone? What happens to the channel? If I still have the VW, I'm going to call the VW Charlie. So Charlie and me is me and the VW going camping, even if we go on the HYMER. But the channel will go, and as remembrance of Charlie, it'll stay called Charlie and Me. I don't know how long more the channel is going to go for because we're running out of campsites, but we have a few things in the pipeline, which I think is one of the questions. Did I cover that question already? Yeah, where have you planned for this year? IBB SCCS asked earlier on where we planned, and I was saying that we want to go places, but I'm waiting to sort out a little bit of sponsorship for a big trip, a week-long trip out of the country. More details about that later on. But no, Charlie won't be replaced. Now, Teresa Ann, this is a good point, and this is going to lead to another video. I've since been chatting to Teresa Ann about this. Aaron, could you ask your vanners or DIYers if any of them would be interested in doing a course to teach women the basics of owning a van or a motorhome? I've spoken to women and they don't really want to go to a garage unless they have to. So I got back onto Teresa that came in on Instagram, and I said to her, what kind of things are you talking about? And she got back on and she said simple things like, the one that comes to mind is the hot water and the electricity. We didn't even realize that we had an electrical fuse board in our camper van. So just basically how to turn on the hot water, the heating, the electricity. Troubleshoot when the mains isn't working, where to check in the van. How to clean out the tanks properly and drain them for winter. How to install a mixing tap if this happens to go. Change the rubbers on the doors and the windows to stop water getting in. I've loads of ideas. It depends on what you want to do. So I got back to her and I said, thank you for the ideas. And yes, I'm going to do a couple of videos on the basics. They'll probably only be 5-minute Wednesday videos on this is how we use our gas. Here's where the fuse board is missing. Here's where your 12-volt electrical fuse board is on most campers. So yes, Teresa Ann, thank you for that. And those videos are coming up and they'll come up pretty soon this season. Second last question, Louise, 1970. Where is the most dog-friendly site you have ever stayed on? I asked Deirdre about this morning. Any site that allows dogs is a dog-friendly site, as long as you keep your flipping dog in a lead and scoop the poop. But it's for sale. But Jamie and Amanda's Strand Camping in Doonbeg is the only one we've come along that has an agility dog park. There's a few of them have, I know the Getaway have an area that you can let your dogs off the lead, let them roam, but scoop the poop. There's a few have little dog runs. Brandon Hill has a fabulous walk around their farm that you can bring your dog on, let the dog off, but scoop the poop. But Doonbeg and Strand Camping have a little park area behind a little football pitch, and at the time when we were there, and I'd say it's still the same, there was little hoops and things for them to jump and play around. So that would be the most dog friendly. It's up for sale at the moment, and hopefully when it's sold, as a going concern, the people will keep the dog-friendly area. They also have little hooks on their office doors that you can tie your dog to while you go into the office or the toilets. They also have water bowls. So I would say Strand Camping, Doonbeg. Finally, Shane wants to know, will I break down the cost of restoring the T3? Now, Shane, I did say on Instagram, if I was to do that, that's a video in itself, because there's the folder of all the paperwork for the T3. But what I will do is on this screen here, behind the camera, I will bring up, just scoot over here, my T3. Just wait, let me just camera slightly this way. I'm just going to bring up the expenses sheet on, and I tell you what it cost. First of all, we sold the B-Bar. I bought the van in October, but I wasn't going to build until I had sold the B-Bar, because that was going to fund the sale of the B-Bar. So we sold the B-Bar in February. I bought the van in October from my savings, and then I sold the B-Bar in February, and I got €14,500 for it. And I said to Deirdre, okay, I want 10 grand. So I was going to buy a van and spend roughly five and a half grand building it. I bought the van for 5 grand, and like all good things, you need a contingency. So I spent €7,928.57 on the build, plus the 5 grand to buy it. So it's coming in at 13 grand. Nearly 14 grand. Actually, let's call it 14 grand, because it was 7,928 plus the 5 grand. But we got over €1,000 between coffee donations, donations from companies like the Skylight. That would have been 300 quid. So I put that down as a 300 quid donation. Pat Horan gave us €300 in part. So I put that down as part of the cost. So the van cost us €13,000, nearly 14 grand. Because he went on to say that he's thinking of doing one himself. I started off lucky. The guy, Paul, who I bought it from, had already done the spraying work, all the welding work. 99.9% of the welding work was done. So we had very little welding to do. Hence the 5 grand price. It came with a second engine, which was already fitted. So you're looking at 15 grand if you get a good body to start with. If you get a ball of rust, you're looking at a lot more. And I was blessed that all the welding was done on it. My buddy padded another little bit of welding that we found. Very little, very little the front, the 2 floors. Yeah, so 13 grand. Right, that is it. That is all the questions that you guys have sent into us for our first Q&A of 2024. Listen, thanks again for the support, guys. I'll just bring you up quick. I don't have the figures for the podcast to hand, and it's something that I should have actually asked Chris about, but I don't have them at hand. But just let me tell you here, I really do appreciate the support, watching the videos. For example, a video went up on Friday and it's already got 1,300 views. The one that went up 2 or 3 weeks before that is only on 1,200 views. So different videos get massive views all of a sudden. And I remember Clonmel went up to 5,000 views within the first few days. So the story at the moment is with Charlie Mayer Camping Vlog on YouTube. We have 5,630 views. That's 2 more than I had this morning when I checked. 620,422 views. Sorry, 5,630 subscribers, but 620,422 views. Thank you for that. That is it. Charlie's out running around the garden. From me, Aaron. Stay safe. Don't forget, as soon as the season kicks off, we'll have videos every Friday of campsite reviews. The Camping Crew podcast, once a month at the moment until the season kicks off. Wherever you listen to your podcast, just search for The Camping Crew. From me, Aaron. Thanks for the Q&As. Keep them coming, by the way. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.